Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit. Let me just leave this match so we can like fucking play.
Oh no, I joined the match.
All right, I'm on.
No,
Oh no, you joined my. Oh, you left the match resulting in a penalty. I can't do anything for 5 minutes. God damn, that's crazy.
I joined the match. My bad, bro.
Okay, well, it don't matter.
Okay,
All right,
one second.
Rizzhan, go ahead and justify your position, bro. You've been looking for this syllogism. You've been looking for this argument forever.
I won't give a syllogism. Okay, so I'll just like spell out the arguments. I believe that all accounts of personhood are going to fail, and I believe that the best account of personhood just entails the pro-life position.
Wait, what the fuck? I'm pro-life. You said you were gonna be doing pro-choice.
No, I said, wait, are you actually retired?
The tracking of destruction. You mean to tell me in 5 seconds you cannot remember your original position?
Wait.
Go ahead and devil's advocate for that. Go ahead and devil's advocate for that pro-choice position.
Think you're in the VC, right? Did he not ask me?
Didn't that nigga say he was gonna do pro-choice?
Wait, Rizzhan, what did you say?
Oh my god.
I said pro-life.
He said he's gonna do pro-choice. This nigga's such a weirdo. Yeah, well, I don't argue for pro-choice, so I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. Last time you got beat up, I was using pro-life, and you couldn't establish a consistent worldview. So I don't know where in your fucking brain dead fucking dropped on your fucking head is a fucking kid's skull is like fucking conceding of right now, right? But I need you to say something that makes sense.
Like you couldn't even remember what we said in the debate. Your intellectual.
Rizzhan, what's my name? Hold on, what's my name?
Not remembering anything.
Wait, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. What's my name? Wait, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. What's my name?
I don't know your actual name, but your name on Discord is official.
Yeah, I'm official, right?
You're the one
okay, cool. So give the argument, bro.
You're the one with a fucking mental deficiency. You're a fucking retard.
That shit's just unrhetorical. Hey, you gonna give the argument, bro, or you just gonna like
run away highly rhetorical.
Not gonna lie.
The argument is just premise one.
Watch him giving the argument for the pro-life position.
Are you retired? Are you going to let me give the argument? Fucking dumb fuck. Going to let me finish?
Wait, watch him give the argument for the pro-life position after the little engagement we just had. Go ahead.
Are you going to let me start the argument? You said
go ahead. Go ahead, start. Give your shitty tier argument. Go ahead. Give your shit argument. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, open the door.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you the argument. You're just being a retard.
What's up?
I think your ADHD is kicking in.
What?
I think you're having little ticks. I think you just can't.
Thank you, Pops. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I just got a little bit of trees. I'm not sure if I want to finish this if you don't get to entertaining me, man. I'm about to roll up. Bro, you've been saying argument for 20 minutes. Just give it, bro. God damn. Jaw, are y'all seeing this? Bro, give it, please. Oh my god, bro. We gonna be here in a minute.
Okay. Start. Prima facie, we have 5.
Jesus. Oh, and your mic is lagging out. Is that on my end? Is my Wi-Fi messing up right now? Is my Wi-Fi messing up?
Yeah, we get
that'd be very unrhetorical if that's my Wi-Fi.
Why you won't even let me give the argument? Can somebody mute him?
Well, I'm telling you that my Wi-Fi might be messing up and you're just cutting out. So I don't know why you're getting upset. No, your Wi-Fi is definitely okay. Well, okay, then it's your side. It's your side because every time you talk, I'm hearing. Can you just type it, bro, so we can get past this first 5 minutes. I know you're scared. I know you're quaking in your boots right now. I know you're shivering and shaking. Like, just go ahead, man.
You're gonna be the one shivering. You're a fucking spastic. You have ADHD. You even admitted it yourself. How dumb do you have to be?
Now that was funny. That was funny. But yeah, for a good argument though.
The conversation is actually rhetorical. And I'm not gonna type it out. I'm just gonna say it because.
Bro, I'm the rhetorical nigga. I don't need to try to do this shit.
Hell.
Okay, so are you going to let me give the argument for the 5th time?
I'm gonna let you attempt to give an argument, but you seem to fail all the time.
Wait, can somebody mute him while I'm giving the argument?
Oh, you need mute perms? Are you that just incompetent?
I have terms myself. I could literally just
Hold on,
kick you from
it's not a debate. There's no interjections. I need to be able to interject the retard shit that you spout,
No,
especially when you go on those robot
you asked me
speeches.
to give the argument. How are you going to interject me? While I'm
And it
giving
seems
the
like you
argument?
can't. It seems like you can't. You're just running away to everything else but the
I just tried to lay out
argument.
premise one. I just tried to lay out premise one, then you interrupt me in
Go
the middle
ahead.
of premise
So
one.
lay out premise one. All
You
right.
can't
So
even
premise one is
control.
that you
You can't even
tried. All right.
control your own
Premise two is what?
tendencies. You're mentally disabled.
Premise two is random British jargon. All right. Conclusion.
Are you a fucking retard?
Conclusion. You're a fucking retard. So why is that like a sound argument or valid?
Does it occur to you that wasn't the argument?
So you don't have an argument. Okay, so we're just gonna drop those. We're just gonna drop that retarded shit that you tried. I'm gonna give you one more time. Go ahead.
Okay, so premise one is that we have
Premise
no
one is
mind.
okay. Okay. Premise two is
You fucking okay. I'm gonna mute you, fucking retard. You're actually pissing me the fuck off. So as I was saying, premise one is just that we have no overriding reason to believe that it's going to be the case that we should preserve the life of the fetus over preserving the well-being of the mother. Premise two is just that if we have no overriding reason to preserve the life of the fetus, then abortion is prima facie and morally justified if or insofar as the mother wants to preserve her own well-being, and then therefore this is going to be the case that since the mother wants to preserve the well-being, then abortion is prima facie morally justified.
like as far as P1, I'm confused. So does your position hold to the view that like, oh, the mother is inherently more valuable than like the fetus?
What do you think inherent value is?
I guess we'll just say morally, what's more morally valuable?
Well, that's not inherent value, but okay. Yeah, I'd say that the mother is more morally valuable than the fetus.
Okay, why?
Why? Because the mother exhibits multiple traits that we take to be intrinsically valuable that the fetus doesn't.
So you just take it that that which we take to value, given like the qualities of this person, this thing would be more morally valuable. Well, I think we have a disagreement on like the things that we morally valuable. So what type of view do you hold? Are you a utilitarian?
Well, yes, I'm a utilitarian.
Okay, so you believe what's good is going to be maximizing utility.
Well, yeah, what's good is just going to be maximizing.
Okay, so you would take it if there was some person who would have just this higher quality of well-being. We ought to save this person over the rest. I think that's just false.
No,
I don't think people would say that. I also think that it's very conceivable that we could be in a scenario where utility is achieved and it not be a good thing, right? So
wait, okay. Number one, that's not what I said. What I said was that. Well,
no, you inherently concede to that because you're talking.
Okay, you're just going to interrupt me throughout the whole debate. So anytime you even try to interrupt me, I'm just going to put you on server mode. So what I said specifically is just that, well, preserving the life of the fetus, and because the fetus doesn't have any of the trait that would make it such that we have an overriding reason, now listen to this, overriding reason for us to actually abort the fetus rather than, not for us to actually keep the fetus rather than preserve the well-being of the mother, then the mother is prima facie morally justified in believing that she has the choice to not abort the fetus, or she is justified in believing that she doesn't have to keep the fetus. Right? That's what I said. I never said that it's going to be the case that if we had conscious agents, if we had conscious people, that it's going to be the case that we just preserve the well-being of one person or the other conscious beings. And you made a claim right now that you believe that it's not going to be the case that every time we maximize utility, that action is going to be good. So are you going to be able to give an argument for that proposition you made?
Yeah, I think it's okay. So first off, we don't have to get into the argument of P1 or the whole syllogism. I'm just asking you questions about your position. But as far as let's get into it. So would you say you value the quality of utility? Right?
I don't know what you mean by quality of utility.
The quality of utility.
I don't know what you mean. You just repeated it. Do you think that's the definition?
Okay, so do you value higher well-being?
Higher well-being.
Somebody like in a scenario where somebody would feel, wait, listen. So at a scenario where somebody's gonna feel greater happiness, right? You would choose to save, you would choose to do actions conducive towards that rather than something of a lower quality, right?
still don't know what you mean there. I don't
You
know what you
don't?
mean
Okay.
by quality.
Why the
I heard
quality of
quality
happiness? Like obviously there's different degrees of happiness.
different
Like
degrees of
the happiness that you get, when you get $5 is different from the happiness you get when you get like a large sum of money, like $500. We're just talking about that particular.
Yeah, so
Unless you think they're all reducible down to like the same. Okay, so we agree that there's a distinct quality. So I'm saying in a scenario where we have like this alien, right, that would have this ability, right, to experience this happiness, and it would just like trump all of society's all of society's well-being and stuff like that. You would say that this alien thing is just more valuable, but I don't think society would choose to we ought act in that said way just because somebody can feel things to a higher extent.
Come into your house and rape your mother. You fucking nasty motherfucker.
Yeah, I just don't think people would hold to that.
okay, so that's not what the theory of utilitarianism is saying. What the theory of utilitarianism is saying.
You just agreed to what I was saying.
Wait, 1 sec. The theory of utilitarianism is basically just saying that we should aim to maximize the well-being of happiness of not just ourselves. Not just
what do you think well-being is? Yeah, so what do you think the well?
Okay, but this is the third time you've interrupted me. And notice, I haven't even interrupted you once. I'm being very charitable and you're not being charitable. So as I was saying, I said that utilitarianism would not hold or agree to the fact that just because somebody's well-being or happiness might trump another person's well-being or happiness, that we should focus on maximizing their well-being or happiness. That's not what utilitarianism is saying. Utilitarianism is basically just saying that we should aim to maximize the happiness of literally every single moral agent or every single conscious agent, even if there's different levels of utility between those individuals. Utilitarianism is saying that we should aim to maximize well-being and happiness for literally everybody. It doesn't matter the levels of utility that we're actually maximizing there. And no, I didn't agree to what you said I agreed to. What I specifically said is just that there's going to be distinctions in the levels of happiness that people can attain when they get certain rewards or when they do certain things. That doesn't follow that now I'd agree that an alien should be able to do whatever it wants to society because it would maximize its well-being or happiness. Nor would I agree to the fact that a person should be able to rape another person because it would maximize their well-being and happiness. No.
Okay, so you simply value this state of well-being in like quantitative aspects. So like it doesn't matter if this person, right, could theoretically have this higher state of well-being than all of what these people would. You would just value like the quantitative aspects.
I just told you I don't necessarily value the quantitative aspects. I just
What? So how are you? Okay. So let's break it down. So what particularly would you find more valuable in the situation? Somebody with somebody with a higher quality of well-being, or people, or 200 people with like some sort of well-being that's obviously of like lower quality.
I value the 200 people with the lower quality. Well, I'd focus on maximizing utility.
Why?
Why? Because if we didn't agree to that, then we'd be committed to believing that some heinous actions were actually moral.
Yeah, okay, so I don't see why it's okay. I'm still not seeing how in a scenario where we have this baby, because like you're talking about the greatest good for the greatest number. In the end result, you realize that the baby would be born, right? And it's highly probable towards maximizing utility for society. Like we have a high probability that this thing would become a doctor or like just do other things, right? Conducive towards like this theoretical maximization of utility. But under your view, you're saying that you would want to kill this baby and stop it from doing these said actions that it's like probable to occur, right? So that just seems to minimize utility at the end result. It doesn't seem to be the case that you're a utilitarian. I just think you're confused about your view. So I'm still not seeing why it's a case, right, that this person is going to be inherently more morally valuable because they have certain things that I don't even know if we generally we value or even constitute us saying that this thing is more justified because again, this baby could obviously do more good than just this lady experiencing just well-being. Like obviously if a person is doing more fucking good and we have probability towards this person doing more good, that's going to be obviously the more valuable thing than this mother drinking a fucking Starbucks. Yeah, simply that.
Well, number one, I just draw a distinction there between actual utility and potential utility. If we know that in a scenario, and if we know definitely that actually preserving that actually killing the fetus would maximize the actual utility.
Wait, the actual utility would be.
Oh my god, this is the fourth time for the recording. Like, this is the fourth time that he's interrupting me while trying to be saying something. Again, as I was saying, I'd make a distinction between actual and potential utility. So if we know 100% for certain that it's going to be the case, and that maximizing the actual utility of the mother there is actually going to be helping her and actually maximizing her actual well-being, then I'd say that we have good reason to believe that we should abort the fetus. In the case of potential utility, the reason why I wouldn't say that potential utility matters there is just that we don't have any definitive data to suggest that the fetus is actually going to do something that's actually going to be more utility maximizing than what the mother is going to do in her life as well. We just don't have any data to suggest that. And so since we have a more definitive reason to believe that maximizing the actual utility of the mother is going to contribute better to her well-being than just, I don't know, just letting the fetus live, then I'd say that we have good reason to believe that the fetus should be aborted in that case.
Yeah, you just go on these robot tangents, right? But under your view, you would hold to the fact that since we don't definitively know by saving like a bunch of Holocaust people and treating them right, we ought just continue like maximizing utility of the larger populace, right? Because the probability, right? Because the probability of the said thing, you just hold that it doesn't matter, right? Which I think is really fucking stupid, because I don't think people are gonna say that it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and we ought act in accordance. Torturing this lower populace, because we don't know if we stopped torturing this little populace that they could that we would have more utility. That's just fucking wrong and absurd. I think what people would actually say, no. I think what people would actually value more is things that are going to be conducive towards maximizing utility. Hence why we in society we teach people not to hurt and not to do all these things, because it often leads to the reducing of utility at which you value. In this scenario where babies are being born, we already have evidence of it. We see that in most cases, we're not full of a society with fucking murderers. So it does matter, because if we don't do things probable towards like a maximized utility, you're just talking about some sort of a specific standpoint that could all just be just full of all these things that we look bad, like a society full of rape. But under my view, we would aim towards things that actually maximize utility and the quality of it, which is definitely something that matters, because everybody's going to say that they would value a higher quality utility for the mass number rather than this lower quality and this lower number in a society full of rape and murderers, right? So that's just fucking wrong, and it doesn't seem to point to or seems to motivate me that which is good or bad. So yeah, so in the case of the mother, yeah, so also hold on. So in the case of the mother, right, I've already laid out how this thing is going to be probable to lead to a society where utility is maximized in a way that we would actually value and doesn't fall into the problems of having insane reductios, right?
Okay, so firstly, just to respond to the example that you gave, well, I'd say that in that case, number one, it's just going to be the case that we're not actually maximizing overall utility there, because the amount of torture and the amount of negative utility that we're maximizing there, I just say, greatly outweighs any positive utility we're going to get from that situation. I believe that if we do indeed torture these people, and if we do indeed do heinous crimes to these people, then sure, there might be some positive. So there may be some positive utility that, I don't know, whoever is perpetrating these crimes may get. But the negative utility that's being maximized by the torture is just going to farly outweigh it. And so I wouldn't support such actions. And number two, you can be a deontologist about utility. So there's something called rule utilitarianism. You're retarded, so I'm pretty sure you don't know that. But rule utilitarianism basically just holds to the fact that yes, we should focus on maximizing utility, but there are certain rules that we ought to follow when going about doing actions or when going about maximizing utility. And so I just say in that situation, we have some sort of deontological intuition to believe that it's wrong to not talk to these people or not do heinous crimes to these people. And secondly, what you said about maximizing potential utility. Well, that just goes back onto my earlier point. I just don't believe it's going to be the case that we have any good reason to believe that that preserving the life of the fetus there is actually going to maximize the actual well-being of any living thing. Preserving
Bro,
the
this
life,
debate is
not
bullshit.
preserving. Oh my God, not preserving the life. Okay, not preserving the life of the fetus there, and maximizing the well-being of the mother is obviously just going to be more evidently the intuitive thing to do, right? Because the mother is an actual being, the mother is an actual person, and in this case, we're not actually reducing net utility because there was no net utility to reduce because it's not like the baby was already working, the baby wasn't an agent, and so yes, while I could even grant you that we were preventing utility from going out in the world, or we were preventing some maximization of utility. What we're not doing is actually reducing net utility. Net utility is actually going to be increasing there by aborting the fetus. And so I'd say that if we're increasing net utility, even if we're preventing some actualization of the maximization of utility, then we still be justified in believing that we should abort the fetus because we're increasing net utility.
Yeah, because you keep muting me, I'm just going to only keep responding to the stuff that I do remember because you go on these long ass robot speeches. But the argument for the probability and why it'd be the case that it would, because we have one entity, we have one more entity and stuff like that that has like this set inherent probability towards X. Now, if we reduce this entity, then we don't have the same probability at which we would before, because if we have this thing, it's kind of like that whole it's kind of like possible worlds. I guess you could say it's akin to something like that. Obviously, if we have more people in society, we have more probability of people doing good actions. Now, given the current state of society and stuff like that, and how we're not murderers and stuff like that, we already have shown cases, and that it's highly probable that these people would do things that are conducive towards my quality of my standard of utility. Not inherently agreeing with whatever fucking view of utility you fucking have, right? Because I'm really confused on that, because it just seems that you only value the current state of utility, not the actual theoretical maximizing of the good there, right? But I already explained how that leads to absurd and just crazy reductios, and how we already have the probability of this baby and stuff like that becoming something good, and we're already causing permanent harm there, stuff like that, which is already a wrong. But in this situation, right, we could help this lady go through therapy, which is already proven to change people's mental states to that of which a preferable quality. If people have you act like it's impossible for people to gain this understanding of what life is and why they ought intrinsically value it. And it's already been shown, because we have a lot of people who've gone from pro-choice to pro-life. When you have people who are willing to go through those specific situations, given their understanding of the phenomena, right? So we have multiple alternatives, whereas it seems that we're unnecessarily causing harm for this utility, I guess, in the moment, when we know that we'd have more quantity and quality of utility in the future. But as far as your other points, I'm just not going to respond to, because I didn't hear all those, because you go on these 20-minute speeches where you mute me for 30 minutes. So, yeah.
Wait, did you just say that I went on a 20-minute speech where I mute you for 30 minutes? How does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Anyways,
It's called hyperbole. But you did go on a long ass tangent.
Okay, sorry to do that, but I just need to actually say what I want
Let
to
me
say.
unmute him.
No, don't unmute him. I already muted him.
I don't know why you're perm abusing though.
I'm not perm abusing. He keeps interrupting me. You can literally ask anybody in the VC. He's interrupting me 5 times. That's not perm abusing.
Okay, wait, official. If you interrupt him, then yeah, you're catching us or mute.
Yeah, okay, but I just feel like it's not even a debate. Normally in a debate, you're able to interject or stop people right there for clarification.
No, you're
but
not.
this nigga literally goes to go on for these 3 minutes, and I'm not even able to ask hey, stop right here. Let's get into these things and how you feel about those. But no, I have to listen to the 3 minute tangent. Oh my God, why are you interrupting me, bitch? Why are you interrupting me, bitch? Shut the fuck up. Anyways.
He's longer than me.
Okay. Wait, no interrupting.
Wait, free. After the debate, I'm going to go into the recording. I'm going to Oh my god. I'm going to go into the recording and I'm going to measure each interval of time that we spoke.
Oh, I'm
He's
finna roll
literally
up.
spoken longer than
Hey,
me.
man.
Yo,
So
what's
anyways,
yo,
respond to
listen,
what
Hey, I'm about to
official.
roll up too. You trying to match?
oh my god.
Hey, man. We could.
This is what happens when you keep unmuting people. I just keep him muted. Like I can't
No,
even
I'm
get what I
not
want to
keeping
get.
him muted. I want to say something real quick.
Yeah,
So,
keep him muted.
Rizzhan,
Yeah.
official.
You're not
Just
moderating.
official. Just don't interrupt him, and now stop muting him. Damn. Stop.
Like what? I can't even
Don't
ask
interrupt him.
questions.
Not
So
in
can
the
you just
middle
tell
of
me the
the sentence.
thesis for your thesis for the utility view that you hold to?
Nah, wait.
That
Chill.
you.
Official number one, hop on Marvel Rivals. Number two,
Oh
chill
yeah,
out
I'm
on.
tripping.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
See, this is
Chill
why I
on.
keep muting him. This is why I keep muting him.
Wait,
Like if he wants to get
official.
something, just say it to
Rizzhan,
him in
chill
DMs.
out.
I'm not going to
Chill,
unmute him. He's
chill,
unmuting like 10
chill,
times.
chill.
Not fucking chill.
Official, chill. Listen, official, Rizzhan. No interrupting shit.
He's
No
going to
interrupting
interrupt you
shit.
whether you say that or not. That's what we said in Academy X. We did this in Academy X and he still interrupted me.
Okay,
Like,
no interrupting shit, okay?
There's no connection in like. Yeah, I don't think there's a connection in like say that you're popular
nobody
in this
cares.
utility that you define and everybody
Nobody cares.
said
You just said your
unintuitive and that we would not
You just said your argument. You
back in
literally said your
that
argument.
just
You
seems
literally said your
lower the
argument. Let me
utility. It's unintuitive because you would value the current
Oh
state of
my god,
society
no,
torturing
I'm going to mute him because he literally just said his argument and I was going to respond, but then you actually let him unmute and now he's making another argument, so I'm not going to let him do that. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. I already told you, official, that it's not going to be the case that we're doing anything immoral there when we prevent some maximization of utility if we're not actually reducing current net utility. So, by not aborting the fetus there, since we're going to be reducing the well-being and happiness of the mother, we're actually going to be reducing current net utility, meaning that we're going to be introducing negative utility. But by aborting the fetus, we're not actually reducing any we're not actually reducing any net utility. We're not introducing any net negative utility, right? We're just preventing some actualization of utility, or we're just preventing some maximization of utility. But that's not actually reducing the current net utility that's actually there, and therefore aborting the fetus there wouldn't be immoral, right? And I already said that. And you said that you gave me some crazy reductio to my position. I'll maybe like you weren't listening at a point, so I'll just like repeat what I said about the reductios. I already told you that in those cases where we're torturing people in the Holocaust, it's just going to be the case that the amount of negative utility that we're gaining from torturing those persons is going to massively outweigh the positive utility that we're going to get, to the point where I just say that we wouldn't be justified in torturing those people, since we're not actually increasing positive net utility, and we're going to be massively reducing net utility by actually torturing these people. It just wouldn't be moral, and we are not to do that. And I already told you that. Well, you can care about maximizing utility, but you can also mix in deontological intuitions while going about maximizing utility. So you can say, for example, that well, we should maximize utility, but there are some cases in which there are just some actions that we ought to do, even if doing that action would theoretically maximize utility. So, for example, let's say that in some possible world that torturing billions of people maximized utility, but we had some deontological rule telling us that we shouldn't torture billions of people, then we should choose that rule over maximizing utility there. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so I need you to give justification for all the claims you made. But as far as like the whole baby scenario, like I feel like it's very case by case because and then I also feel like you're also picking and choosing where you value like the quality, because before you were saying like, oh, you didn't value the quality, you just specifically valued like the quantity, but then your reasoning for the whole like Nazi situation was like, oh, it would just be so much of a higher quality of negativity and stuff like that it just outweighs the majority of the populace's utility. I just think that's just inconsistent with like the things that you held to earlier. Went on another like fucking robot tangent speech again, but let's talk talk about net utility, and you don't have to mute me for this. So just describe what you feel is net utility. Maybe that's the particular thing I'm missing because you go on these speeches.
Net utility is just the current amounts of utility that we currently have in society. And I'd also like
Oh, okay. So listen, no, stop. I'm asking you questions. Stop. So if it's the current, hold on. I didn't say give an argument. I'm responding to the stuff that you said. So take your turn. Take your turn. You get to go on at least a minute long. Let me give my contentions to everything you're saying. Yo, mute him. I'm not gonna lie. Somebody mute him. He's not gonna mute me this whole debate. Get to go on these speeches. And when I ask a question, what I get clarification on, he gets to talk over me and do all this bullshit. Because if he starts doing this, I'm gonna get to packing, and then it's not gonna be a debate. I'm gonna get to packing and it's not going to be a debate. I'm going to get to packing and it's not going to be a debate. Shut up and let me finish talking.
Yeah, you can.
Now let me finish talking. 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 Now I don't see why it's the case. Yeah. Hold on. I don't see why it's the case that we should value net utility over over like probable or more potential utility or something that just directly leads to more utility being there. Because like in the case of abortion, right, if you're not talking about like the quality, or because you keep on switching these views, we would have a scenario where the baby, stuff like that, we're having less net utility because the baby has to endure through this excruciatingly painful fucking surgery where they're like breaking its back and stuff like that. And you're supposed to be proving in all cases. So I don't see how, if you're not measuring it off of like the quantitative and qualitative aspects, however you would calculate that, because you still have to give like your calculation method or whatever. Now that you're changing your view, it just doesn't seem to me that you have a consistent worldview, and you haven't given me motivators as to why we should value net utility over doing things that have been shown to lead towards a higher net utility by acting in actions that seem to be more probable towards that. For example, like slavery. We went from a time where we had lower net utility, but we acted in actions that were probable towards this higher net utility. Probable actions towards a net utility have already been shown to be favorable towards your position and things that we would just value. So I don't see how we should strictly value just this current moment, even though we could have those current net utility being maximized under how you define it, and we would not look at that as like a good society. So you just have an inconsistent view that's just not motivating at all.
Okay, so number one, to respond to your point about how why we should value net utility over potential utility. Well, I just say that we have a much better gauge of a net utility, and we have a much better gauge of the current net utility rather than some probabilistic utility that we could possibly introduce into society. And
okay, so let's stop right there.
You're not going to interrupt me, like Jesus Christ. I let you speak for like 3 minutes. And when I say one sentence, not even one sentence, you interrupt me immediately. You're not going to do that. I'm not going to let you do that. So as I was saying, since we have a better gauge and more knowledge of a current net utility, then we'd be justified in believing that we should focus on making sure that net utility doesn't fall, rather than making sure that some potential positive utility is actualized. And to get to your point about having a society, I already told you about the whole societal thing. I already told you that, well, when slavery was happening, the amount of negative utility heavily outweighed the amount of positive utility that we're actually getting, right? Because the amount of suffering and the amount of neglect, the amount of injustice there would be much more than any benefit, would heavily outweigh or be much more than any benefit that the slave owners could get there. And so I'd say that whereas it might seem that utility is being maximized, utility actually isn't being maximized, because obviously we're reducing net utility by torturing people and making people be slaves against their own will. And I'd also like to add, like, you didn't even get the deontology point. I said that we can mix in deontological intuitions as well as talking about utility. So, for example, even if we were to do an action that quote unquote maximize utility, we could find some deontological intuition, for example, like we ought not to make people slaves against their own will, and use that deontological intuition to guide our actions. And so even if we were to do an action that maximizes utility, if that deontological rule was true, then we should prioritize following the deontological rule over maximizing utility there, and that's just really utilitarianism.
Oh my god. So now we're getting into like the whole theses, but as far as like the justification, because you say that you don't value like the qualitative, you're not measuring like the qualitative, you're measuring like the quantitative. So do you have any justification for why it's the case that the utility in the whole like slavery and all those other analogy wasn't maximized, even though the majority of the populace was not being slaves and having like this at will? I don't know how you justify that, right? But as far as like a deontological rule, if you're just defining it as like a set of like guidelines that we ought act in accordance with that trumps like the utility metric, right? I could just say like, I could just say something like, we ought save this baby because of the more good that we could obtain, right? And that would be like a fine rule and be like, okay, yeah, we probably shouldn't do this thing because more good can be done. Anybody's going to intuitively or just say that the option that does more good, regardless of the utility, right, is going to be that which we should act in accordance with. That's even what you use as your bypassing method, as your bypassing metric. So in this scenario, we're causing unnecessary suffering, right? We're not only causing more, we're causing like, do you know how many abortions happen a year and how many of those babies could have became people that are just doing all of these good things, right? It's in the millions, right? So we're just constantly lowering the probability of something that would just be intuitively valuable. And as far as like the current state, I just don't see why we're motivated just off of a gauge. Like, sure, we can say like, oh, we'd have a better gauge at the current state of the utility and what it leads to, but I don't really know if that's true either, because I feel like it's definitely possible that all of the utility, regardless of like if we acted in things that would be in accordance towards net utility, could lead to a situation where all of the utility is lost because of some sort of like, let's say like explosion or something like that. Like we don't know what specific action there, right, is going to lead towards this net utility under your view. So I don't think you have a definitive gauge in what I would, or something that was just motivating, which is like the probability, which has been shown to maximize utility in multitudes of cases, right? Acting in accordance to things that would be probable towards it. See the changes from slavery? We literally now have a higher net that people would intuitively say like, oh, this is a better society because of the suffering that's going on. So I take into account the quality of the suffering, right? I take into account all of these different things as to how I would gauge it. You don't take those things into account. You would still hold to the same fucking view, right? Unless you're changing it, then I'm going to need you to prove to me, just give you your gauging method, right? That this society where we're all a majority just mass torturers to this smaller civilization would be something more favorable, and that we ought act in accordance with, as long as it doesn't violate any sort of some deontological rules. Now, how do these deontological rules warrant that we should save this mother, right, over the baby, and why should we act in accordance with them?
Okay, so firstly, you just have like a massive misunderstanding of real utilitarianism, but I'm sure I can educate you on the basis of real utilitarianism. So the example you gave about, well, it might just be the case that it's deontologically true that preserving the life of the fetus would be that which is in accordance with some deontological rule. Well, then I'll just ask you the argument for why there is a possibility, or why there is some deontological rule, or what good reason we have to believe that there is some deontological rule that's actually telling us to preserve the life of the fetus over the well-being of the mother. But the problem is there is no deontological rule. Any rule that you could come up with would just be that which is that which is arbitrary. And I just base deontological rules off of generally held intuitions, or at least prima facie intuitions that most people hold. So, for example, based off of the fact that people hold a general intuition that, slavery is wrong, or based off the fact that people have a general intuition that even if torturing 1 billion people maximize utility, we still shouldn't torture 1 billion people, then we can say that there is some deontological rule that's telling us that we ought not to do slavery, or we ought not to engage in slavery, or we ought not to torture billions of people, right? That's all we can just say. Right? To respond to your point about apparently my worldview being inconsistent, right? I don't see the inconsistency in my worldview. You haven't even pointed out any inconsistency in my worldview. Like, you just claimed that it was inconsistent, but I haven't seen any evidence for why we have good reason to believe that my worldview is actually inconsistent. And also, you said something about well, we don't have any good reason to believe that net utility is going to be more valuable than potential utility. Well, I already substantiated why we do have good reason to believe that. And you haven't given a defeater to that. You just repeated the negation of the claim that we were disagreeing on. So could you actually give some justification for the claim that you actually made? Like, it just seems like just throwing out claims up into the air and not hoping to actually give any justification for the claims that you're actually providing. And you said something about that we'd actually be maximizing suffering by killing the fetuses. Well, no, we wouldn't be maximizing suffering because the fetuses can't experience suffering. They can't physically suffer. And that's my whole point. If the mother can physically suffer from being forced to keep the baby, then we have good reason to believe that she is justified in believing that she should have bought the baby. That's all I'm saying here. So we can just go to conclusions and let Apollo give you judgment.
Yeah, so unless you can prove me conclusively, in those scenarios there we gauge things off of like net utility, and make actions in accordance towards that it would lead to it, then I don't see how that like proves your position, because again, the possibility of something horrible, something like horrible happening, or something just directly negational to that can occur. So it's fine. Yeah, wait, hold on. Listen. I'm not done. You got to go on your tangent. So if it's a case that you believe that we should act in accordance with things based off our current observations of society's utility and not towards those things, right? Your whole reasoning behind it was that, well, we could see that we just have a better, I guess what you were just saying, that we have a better chance or just like a better idea of it. First, let's get into that. Like, how do we have a better like gauge?
Because
like, are you just saying like we can see it?
It's going to be obviously true that we have a better gauge of actual things that we can measure rather than potential things.
Okay, so listen. Okay, so hold on. That, to an extent, we can say like, oh, we have a better gauge of actual things if it's the case of what we observe are actual. All of what we know could be false. So if all of what we're saying has the possibility, wait, listen. So listen. If all of what we observe has the possibility of leading to something directly counter to that, I don't see how in a scenario where we're acting towards things that we don't even conclusively know is going to lead towards this thing we value, rather than acting towards something that's probably going to lead towards something that we would intuitively value. And as far as like the deontological rules, I was appealing to your your idea of it, which is going to be like, okay, we would base these things off of people's general intuitions of the said thing and general rules of the said thing. Most people would say that, oh, we shouldn't maintain a society where we rape the lower populace, right? We shouldn't do these things that are just be causing it to the lower populace, even though we would have a higher net utility. Now, you disagree with quality being the gauge. You don't even give proof as to why in the scenarios of the reductios I gave, why you'd say that your position was more favorable, right? So I don't think you have any sort of arguments in favor of what your position is, because
we can just go.
We definitely can.
Yeah, so is Apollo. Listen.
I can judge this.
Yeah, free. You can judge it.
If Rizzhan agrees, but I don't think he will agree.
I don't think so.
What you don't think so?
Because y'all obviously.
Oh, if it's about us being friends, then yeah, you can pick somebody else. I mean, I'm not going to be biased towards it, but I understand if you want somebody else.
I want Apollo to judge.
Well, I don't know if he was there. oh yeah, net utility. Yeah, it's more valuable because we can possibly gauge this better than the current. Oh my god.
Yeah, but there was like no, but official, you did kind of make blunders. That's why I wanted to judge, but it's fine.
I mean, you can give your judgment. I just like want to apologize.
Mhm. That's fine. I mean, if you want, I will judge for official. You can Apollo can judge for you if that's something you want as well. We can maybe do that.
Wait, so I'm guessing you think official won.
I think he won because some things kind of went uncontested and some things responded with, but after some time you just lost your point towards them.
Okay, whatever. You just pay for a policy, yeah.
Do you want somebody else judging for you?
We have sync. It was sync for sync.
No, sir, I wasn't.
Hide kick mouth. Were you listening?
I was playing the
Honestly, I
game
feel like
while you were
y'all
calling
can.
my name, but
Yeah.
just let Apollo judge. Shit.
Honestly, though, I feel like y'all can just lead this
Yeah,
debate.
sync, bro, sync. I
What's
fuck with
up?
you, bro, sync. I fuck with you though. You seem chill, but bro, I just leave it at that, bro.
Bruh, I just feel like like they don't need judgment, honestly, because nobody was listening.
Oh,
This is for free.
that's fine, that's fine. Yeah. I thought you were
All right,
gonna
there we
say
go. I'm
something.
finna go roll up. I'm finna go.
No,
Well,
listen.
well,
I thought you were gonna say something about. Oh yeah, that's not actually what net utilitarianism is like, bro. If it,
oh
it's
no, no, no,
about
I
the.
wasn't thinking. No, I don't be doing shit like that because I don't live like, you know.
Listen. Let's get it, chat. Just slowly dying, you know.
Yeah, I'm finna go back to. Bro, I hate Kodaks though, bro. Lost no chance need to get popping.
Yeah, but listen. This was a very good, clear conversation.
There wasn't. No, it wasn't. The conversation.
Who's the owner of Kodaks?
Yo, hello. Where's my phone,
I don't know. Yo, official, hop on Marvel, bro.
bro? I'm sorry, bro. I had to beat in Rizzhan. It was taking a long time.
Yeah, I think
Well, you didn't beat me.
Rizzhan, I think yeah, I know it's probably confusing. I do think he won though.
No, cause like I don't even do ethics. But when he started bringing up that deontological rules and how we should just act in accordance with net utility because we have a better gauge of it, and then I bring up, well, all of what the actions that you say that we should act in accordance with could lead to the direct negation, and it's very possible, right? We don't have a better gauge. I don't really see how you're going to say that, oh, we shouldn't act towards things that are probable, that have been shown to lead towards the maximization of a better quality net utility,
I
what
already
you had
explained
before.
that. The free.
No, you didn't. You
Oh
really didn't.
my
You
god.
really didn't.
Okay. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, free. Why do you think you won?
I think he won because he brought up the hypothetical for the populace and everything.
What hypothetical? What was the hypothetical?
Wait, they're tweaking out. Am I?